I gotta say, if there's one thing Smiling Friends is known for more than its wacky showrunners, it's the fact that it wears its heart on its sleeve for YouTube and Newgrounds creators. Of course, with the tremendous luck the boys have had in getting a show on Adult Swim, this has also brought them the fortune of being able to cast major Hollywood actors, essentially making them an internet age Tim and Eric, a duo of two weirdos crafting some of the oddest television known to man that sprinkled Hollywood talent amongst the insanity. Even then, Smiling Friends' focus is still first and foremost on the creative talents of its YouTube and Newgrounds cast. Smiling Friends has really shown that just about anything can happen and will happen. With its crazy premises and featured artists from all over the web, they've proved that nearly anything is possible within a Smiling Friends episode. So, this leads me to ask myself, who could be the next big cameo to show up? Of course, this isn't a deep dive into casting rumors. This is more about voicing my thoughts on who I would love to see on the show, what with my vast knowledge of Oni Plays lore, which has been a substantial part of the show's gags and character appearances. While there likely is a ton of potential on Michael Cusack's side with any number of Australian YouTubers, hell, I'd even love to see Raka Raka after their amazing film Talk to Me. But for the purpose of this video, I'll primarily be talking about Zach's rogues gallery of absolute weirdos. And if you've ever watched Oni Plays, you'll know how wide his range of weirdo lore expands.
Could I get the number 15?
How do I look, yellow man?
Yeah, not really your business though, is it?
Quickly, Charlie, get on!
The best show to ever do voice cameos was South Park.
Hello, I'm Daniel the Demon Slayer. I slay demons so you don't have to.
Where they had like George Clooney come on as a dog to come bark.
Don't forget to leave Mr. Boone a like and a comment on who you'd like to see cameo in Smiling Friends. Also, be sure to subscribe and ring that bell for more Smiling Friends and Adult Swim content every Monday. It's a quick act of kindness, but it means the world to him. Also, if you're feeling like a smiling friend yourself, buy Mr. Boone a coffee to help him stay awake while editing these during all-nighters. There's a link in the description for that. And if you're of Mr. Boone's new subscribers, thank you so much for helping him reach his first adorable milestone of 1,000 subs. I hope each and every one of you have a blessed day. Now back to the video. The Lightbringer.
Oh boy, this one's a real deep cut. But if you've seen the recent episode, The Boss Finds Love, you'll know it's not impossible. For ages, Zach and the Oni Plays boys have almost canonized the Nostalgia Critic and Channel Awesome as a part of their channel lore. They've made it no secret that they love them ironically and unironically. As to them, and my crusty old self, they were a large part of our early years on the internet. Love them or hate them, they're a part of our cringier younger selves, no matter how hard you try to run from it. That said, this episode made it clear who ultimately was the bigger man between Linkara and Doug. With them both being hotly spoken about topics on the Oni Plays channel, it was only natural that the two of them would be asked online, being openly joked about frequently on their YouTube channel, which has garnered millions of views. Doug surprisingly took it in good spirits and loved everything that came from it, even claiming that it would be contradictory if he didn't laugh at himself as a critic and somebody who enjoys cartoons.
How hypocritical would it be if I'm like, look at this person who doesn't appreciate my art when I literally make a living mocking people's art?
Since a lot of the staying power of their jokes about the Nostalgia Critic and Linkara came from animated videos that fans had made of the Oni Plays episodes. In stark contrast, Linkara, being that far too self-serious person he is, doubled down on being upset that his goofy comic was brought up by them.
They are a YouTuber who is the one who constantly mocks me, makes fun of me, and apparently they do an impression of me that everyone loves. Everyone has to point out, wow, his impression of you is so accurate. And he's the one who popularized people calling me the Lightbringer.
The Lightbringer.
Based off of my crappy old webcomic. So, screw him.
Yeah. This one might be a bit of a stretch, but I genuinely wouldn't be too surprised if after the Nostalgia Critic's appearance on the show, Linkara might decide to thicken his skin on the whole light-hearted teasing that Oni Plays makes of his old show on YouTube, atop the fourth wall. But at the end of the day, that really comes down to whether or not Linkara can learn to laugh at himself a bit. I mean, with the Nostalgia Critic's cameo, he basically acted as himself doing one of his weird bits from any number of his skits. So there really wasn't any intense ribbing done because ultimately, the boys boys appreciate them.
He said no, but he did something.
They've brought entertainment to people for generations.
Generations. My grandfather remembers the fireside chats with Linkara.
Dan Akroyd.
Now this is one I personally really hope could happen. Previous seasons showed that it wasn't far from impossible to assume a famous actor could appear. While of course Finn Wolfhard actually appeared in the previous season as that guy by the computer, that was mostly due to the fact that he was actually a fan of Psychic Pebbles and appeared in one of his podcasts earlier on YouTube. What really surprised everyone was Gilbert Gottfried having a hand in voicing God in the finale. Knowing Zach's love for Dan and his zany interests outside of film and television, it's not too hard to see him gunning hard to have him as a cameo. Funny thing is, Zach had already considered him for the previous season, as he explains on the Create Unknown podcast.
Yeah, the Halloween episode, we really wanted to get Dan Akroyd for the opening live action and outro part where that guy comes in, who by the way did a great job. I think did like a better job than we could have expected, but that was kind of written for Dan Akroyd.
And man, were we really robbed a hilarious performance from the once great blues brother, now goofy supernatural vodka salesman, who claims he was sucked off by a ghost. Yes, that's a real thing, and that's why this happened in Ghostbusters. Look it up. I guess you could say...
Mega 64.
Okay, hear me out. This one is definitely unlikely, but it's personally just me throwing a cameo idea out into the ether, hoping Zach or Michael picks it up for consideration. It's no secret that I'm a huge Mega 64 fan, as I could assume many of you might be, even without knowing it, honestly. The group has been on YouTube for 20 years, going strong, outliving even their rival channel, Rooster Teeth. You've no doubt stumbled upon any number of their videos online, ranging from their game characters in real life, jackass tier videos, to any number of their massively popular sweeted anime videos like Dragon Ball in 5 minutes, Neon Genesis, and Metal Gear Solid. That said, the boys have been grinding away for ages at comedy that relies heavily on increasingly absurd visuals and cringe humor. Tell me you could not imagine its main guy, Rocco, cameoing in an episode, as he's known to go in public locations going full Lloyd Kaufman to create hilarious reactions. And if not him, there's always Derek, the second big cheese in the group, known for his crazy style of video editing featured in his music videos and erratic style of acting. He's out doing actual acting outside of the group and has been a large proponent for why they've been doing more skits recently. Now, of course, I know these two are incredibly unlikely, since as far as I know, the only time Mega 64 and anyone from the Only Plays Boys have managed to even been mentioned was on the Mega Strange podcast, where Derek and Mega 64 editor Johnny talked to an old member, Ding Dong, who famously left due to concerns about being part of a large internet channel. So, as far as ties to the Only Plays guys go, this one is a bit slim. But hey, who knows? The Mega 64 boys live in California and have also been on the internet putting out videos since before the adpocalypse.
Christian.
Last and certainly not least, we have the most infamous person on the internet. I know many of you likely clicked on the video just because you saw them in the thumbnail. Well, this one is both a mix of incredibly likely and incredibly unlikely. Much like the nostalgia critic, Zach and the Only Plays boys often took great joy in making their own impressions of the infamous Sonic enjoyer. So, it was no big surprise when it was revealed that Zach and Michael had written them into a specific episode. Of course, it was mostly a quick bit part in which they would, for a second or two, say,
I could have done it,
in the murder mystery episode, fittingly as a grease stain. Although, of course, that didn't pull through, and they ended up having to get everybody's favorite weirdo YouTube animator, Harry Partridge. I really want more Star Barbarian, by the way. Unrelated. In hindsight, it's actually disturbingly hilarious in a way you could only imagine made Zach anxiously laugh.
I could have done it.
Two had planned it out so that they could animate the grease stain, and then in the final moments of the episode's release, get them to come in and voice the single line. This was basically so that they wouldn't spill the beans about being contacted by Hollywood in typical Chris Chan fashion, as they have famously been unable to not tell the internet about every aspect of their life. But oddly enough, it wasn't for that reason that they didn't get them initially. It was actually due to more logistical reasons, as it required them to do more voices than just one.
Well, look, there's like rules that say you can't just get somebody to do like a one-line cameo. You could do that, but you can only do it like once or twice. But they said, look, we've already done the Chills cameo. We can't do that twice just for budgetary reasons. If we get this person, they're going to have to be in like 2 other episodes and do other characters. We're like, no, you don't understand. You understand? Like, it doesn't work. It's not funny that way.
It's really neither here nor there whether they'll even cast them for any seasons going forward, even with their charges being dropped, being allegedly potentially not guilty. That said, although I might want to see this glorious cameo along with many other people, I ultimately feel like it would only embolden their behavior online, causing their mental illness to spike. So, probably for the best this person doesn't cameo, especially with people literally cataloging every move they make online, which unsurprisingly makes them act out even more. So, that's the list, guys. One can only hope we even see half of these within the season or the next, as you never really know who might end up on the show.
Holy crap, it's the New York trumpet guy.
Sucker!
All I know is that whoever shows up, they're gonna make their mark. Even if it's not clearly them, because for the most part, Zach and Michael use these cameos to great effect, blending them into the story seamlessly without feeling like there's some sitcom theme track announcing their entry to the show. If the pilot wasn't the greatest example of this with Red Letter Media's Mike's DeClassa, then I don't know what is. I have absolutely no doubt whoever shows up on the show, it's gonna be hilarious. As so far, every single cameo has been an absolute banger.
I feel like we tried to put everybody in a role that if you had no idea who they were, you would still enjoy it and it would still feel right. And I feel like if we do get to make any more, that's kind of our model going forward, which would be, all right, we will have some people that are maybe kind of more traditional celebrities, you know, like a Finn Wolfhard, I guess. But I think for him, most people don't even know it's him.